Welcome, Denome, and welcome to this crypto update. Now, Bitcoin has done it once again. Instead of having a pullback, it just decided to continue to the upside anyway. But eventually, this move will come to an end, and we will have a nice pullback to the downside still. So, even though Bitcoin broke through this trend line here, I thought, wow, here it is. We finally pushed to the downside here, so I can get new entries into Bitcoin. But no, it decided to go to the upside. So now what I'm currently thinking, this is my short-term analysis, is that Bitcoin either has a pullback from this resistance line here, or uh, Bitcoin goes just a slightly above from the current price point to like 101,000 Bitcoin to touch this yellow line here. And from there, we have that pullback to the downside. I do still expect, I know I'm like a broken record right now saying that the pullback will come, but it will eventually come for the fact that as Bitcoin price goes up and it practically had no pullbacks during this 33% move to the upside, the longer that continues, people will get more and more anxious and they will want to exit their positions. And right now we are seeing a lot of selling as well. But we also see a lot of buying. So let's actually talk about that first. So let's hop into the news. And before we do that, make sure to open the account on femex.com if you are lacking an exchange, you want to diversify between exchanges, or you want to have a no KYC exchange and low fees when you're dealing with derivatives. You can also do demo trading here, use trading bots, copy trading, a lot of features that you're typically accustomed to. You can do it all on femex.com. So make sure to use the link below or use the code that you see here on the screen. Now, the first news that I have is Metaplanet. They bought another 555 Bitcoin, which is about $55 million worth of Bitcoin. And currently they hold 5,555 Bitcoin, which is starting to be a nice chunk. And I hope other other companies follow suit. And actually many companies are following suit. But overall, it's always nice to see Metaplanet buying more. Then we have Revolut, which is now integrating Bitcoin Lightning Network. Now, even though this user here, they are putting fire emojis here, it is good, but I don't think this will affect anything that much because Revolut is mostly dealing with fiat currencies and their crypto offerings are very, very limited, and it's basically an offshoot of their major or main service. Even though they have 50 million users and they are worth $48 billion, I think only 0.01% of their users will actually use the Bitcoin Lightning Network. But overall, I'm happy to see more adoption. So it is obviously good news, but it is not like the biggest news in the world, in my opinion. But it's among the good news, so I'm highlighting it here. And then New Hampshire has become the first United States state that has passed a Bitcoin strategic reserve bill into law. And this is a major, major, major move. So this is probably the biggest news out of the whole week or even the whole year. But this allows New Hampshire to put up 5% of its public funds into Bitcoin. So we can look forward to them basically going into the market and buying Bitcoin in the future. So this is buy pressure in the future that we're talking about here. So it's always nice to see, and it might grow from 5% to something else later down the line, who knows. But obviously, because this is the first state now, more states will follow, and that is natural. So we're expecting more buy pressure, this almost guaranteed buy pressure in the future into the Bitcoin network. So this is massively bullish. And this has now set an unprecedented shift away from just bonds and stocks in these portfolios. Bitcoin has been chosen as a strategic asset by countries, now states, companies, and soon you will see that also Brown University has invested $5 million into Bitcoin via BlackRock's ETF. So even institutions like governmental institutions are buying Bitcoin as a strategic asset. So you can start to see that the game theory is picking up, and my technical analysis is not keeping up with all of this buy pressure. So this is obviously very, very nice to see. But at the same time, some states are not doing what we want them to do. So Florida, their Bitcoin strategic reserve bill is now dead. So that did not happen, at least yet. Maybe it will come to pass later down the line. But overall, this is the situation in the United States right now. Then Ethereum had a major upgrade called Pectra, and that is now live. And there have been no hiccups, and that's probably one of the reasons why Ethereum had a push in price from yesterday until today. So very good to see. Now it's not a major upgrade, or I should say it's not a flashy upgrade, but it overall improves the performance of Ethereum, makes the transactions a little bit cost a little bit less, and it allows the integration between layer 2 blockchains better as well. So very good, good upgrade, and I'm not happy to see that no hiccups have been on this upgrade here. Then Jack Mallers, he has announced Strike lending, and Strike, it is a platform which allows you to basically transact between other major currencies on the planet on a company level. That's what I believe it is used for. And now it allows companies to basically lock in Bitcoin and withdraw stable coins or dollars or fiat currencies in exchange of the collateral of Bitcoin. So this is nice. I'm happy to see it, but there are some warnings here as well. So Jason, who is my friend, he actually says here or asks Grok, does Strike rehypothecate Bitcoin deposits? And Grok says likely they will do that. And why is rehypothecation bad? The answer to that is when you lock in Bitcoin, that is used as collateral for the loan. But Strike, if it does this rehypothecation, then they will use your locked Bitcoin and try to make yield on top of your Bitcoin on their own. So they are reusing your Bitcoin. And that can cause a problem if a lot of their users start to liquidate at the same time. If price starts to fall very rapidly, that means that there may not be enough Bitcoin to fulfill all of their customer demand when they start to withdraw capital. So if they do that, they may run into a big problem, like Celsius Network had a major problem, obviously, and some other companies as well. So I hope they are not doing that, or if they are doing that, that they are very smart about it and avoid all unnecessary risks. And they're extremely, extremely conservative in their strategy on how they are applying this. But Jack Mallers, he's a massive Bitcoin bull, obviously. He's in charge of the SoftBank Bitcoin buying $2 billion fund. So I hope he's doing it properly. But let's see. Overall, I do believe that it brings more wealth or more capital into Bitcoin, that Bitcoin has more use cases. So that is obviously nice. Then Donald Trump has said that tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. there will be a major trade deal that will be announced with a big and highly respected country, the first of many. Now, we have been waiting for this for 5 weeks now, and I'm happy to see that at least we got the announcement of the announcement. So let's see tomorrow at 10 a.m. what will happen. Now, the rumors say that it will be UK, and I believe that will make the most sense as well, because UK is a very close ally to USA as well as Israel. So I think they want to go hand in hand, and UK would be one of the first places to have the trade deal. Obviously, London is a major capital hub, and a lot of American money is in London as well. So it would make a lot of sense if it's the UK, but it could be something else as well, some very small country, somewhere like, I don't know, Iceland or who knows what, but probably it's UK. Now, when this announcement comes, some people are saying like this could be like the trigger, like if the news are not as good or the details are not as good as expected, and that the expectations have been waiting for this so long that the markets have been rallied towards this moment, and when it actually happens it's a letdown and then the markets basically fall. So keep in mind that this event here is most likely not going to be a bullish event, either it's a non-event or a negative price event in the short term. So keep in mind that tomorrow might be a little bit bumpy. Next, unless it's like a country like China, but obviously it's not going to be because they just started to talk together, but even now it doesn't seem like they're anywhere close to a trade deal. Maybe by the end of the year they are able to settle on their issues, but most likely not by tomorrow. Those were the major news that I had for you guys for this update. Now let's take a look at the fundamentals, and here we are seeing the warning signs. So first off, when we look at the supply of Bitcoin on exchange reserves, we like to see that Bitcoin started to be taken out of exchanges and taken out of exchanges and taken out of exchanges. But as you can see, since May 5th, the trend is now, in the short term at least, shifting, and a lot of capital is flowing into exchanges. And the main reason why people want to deposit Bitcoin into exchanges is if they want to sell their Bitcoin. So we are seeing major profit taking place here, also on the other metrics that we're looking at. But as you can see at the end here, we're also seeing some FOMO, massive buying despite the price going up, which is a little bit, let's say, not typical. So that's what's going on in that chart. The funding rates are still very, very nice. We're not seeing a major warning signs on the funding rates. Nothing is showing me here that I should be worried about. So funding rates look very, very nice to the upside as well. But here's another warning sign. When we look at the stablecoin market cap, we're seeing the stablecoin market cap actually fall down about $500 million from the last few days. So this is not what we like to see. We like to see the market cap of stablecoins go to the upside. So there's that. But here is another chart that shows you how much profit taking is taking place here. So when we take a look at wallets that have held Bitcoin for more than 90 days, more than 1 year, and more than 3 years, we're seeing major spikes here. And the most worrying to me is always the blue chart and these blue bars here, because these represent your oldest whales, oldest holding wallets. And when we see spikes here, I do get concerned, especially because this is pretty much the fourth largest spike on the chart that we've seen in the last 6 months. And here you can see that when we have these large spikes, that is typically followed up quite soon after with a major correction as well. And here as well, we saw major profit taking, and then basically we started this short-term bear market here. So currently, old wallets are very happy to take profits. Here we can see on May 5th, 22,000 Bitcoin. Here, May 6th, 18,000 Bitcoin. And here on May 7th, 9,000 Bitcoin. So major profit taking from old wallets. So keep in mind, even though we have this major buying through ETFs, countries, institutions, companies, and even individuals, at the same time, we're seeing major selling occurring. So this would kind of point toward a pullback in the short or medium term, and that's what I would like to see as well, because then people can basically get into Bitcoin who have been waiting on the sidelines and allocate capital there, and then the bull market can continue. Here also the same thing. When we look at the realized market cap, you can see that it is growing as the price grows, and as old wallets are basically locking in their profits, the realized market cap of Bitcoin grows. And we obviously like to see it growing as well, because as the realized market cap grows, that means that the yellow line here, which is the ratio between realized market cap and the current market cap, as long as that stays within a reasonable limit, then the bull market can continue. And I haven't shown you guys this ratio before, so let me give you a briefing of this chart here. So when the ratio is 1 to 1, that means that the current market cap and the realized market cap are the same. And that is typically at the bottoms of the bear market. We can see the number go basically below zero, below 1. That has happened time and time after, and it is a very reliable indicator that the bear market is basically at the lows there. But right now, when the number is 2.35, it is certainly elevated, but it is not in the bubble territory. When it goes above 3.5 or even up to 4, then it starts to be at the bubble territory. So that is obviously not where we want to see it go. We want to see the price grow up. Well, I guess we like to see it grow up very fast in a short period of time, but then the crash will be bigger. But overall, I'm just saying to you guys that the realized market cap is growing. Some people are currently taking profits. So that's that. And no major red flags in this chart here, obviously, but for the market structure, but also this was not a major bear market, at least for now. Then something interesting here on the major whales. So when we look at whales who are holding 10,000 to 100,000 Bitcoin, we can actually see that they were selling into the pump to $93,000, but since then they have actually FOMO'd back into Bitcoin. So these major wallets, major whales, even though we're seeing a lot of sell pressure, we're at the same time seeing buy pressure from these mega whales. So there's that. So this, I would say, is bullish, but yeah. And by the way, the ETF buying is practically the 100 to 1000 Bitcoin holding wallets. This is roughly a proxy for ETF buying, and that has been growing despite Bitcoin pushing for new highs and new highs and new highs. So that is obviously nice to see that they are accumulating here despite the price going up. So major FOMO from institutions, from companies, they don't care that Bitcoin price. They think Bitcoin is massively undervalued at these prices. So even though the short term might give me a bias that Bitcoin is about to have a pullback to the downside, the major view is obviously that Bitcoin will continue to climb to the upside. And we will see even probably a new all-time high throughout 2025 at some point, especially when the states start to actually fulfill on their promise and they start to buy Bitcoin. And when the United States, even though they don't currently allocate any capital into their Bitcoin strategic reserve, when they start to sell gold, or maybe they sell their gold cards and they buy Bitcoin with that capital, I think that is going to be a major event, and that is a major catalyst, price catalyst for Bitcoin price to continue to the upside. So overall, Bitcoin is continuing to be in the bull market, and even though I'm expecting a pullback here from lower prices, they may not come as long as the buying continues. But again, as long as the price continues to go up and up and up and up and up, that means that more sellers are entering the market because they are expecting a pullback, and major whales, they like to buy Bitcoin at obviously lower prices than they currently are. One more thing that I do want to show you guys is when regards to Bitcoin is when we look at the CME futures, and here we still have this gap here. Now we actually have two gaps. I guess I could say, yeah, we have two gaps now on the CME futures. So here we have a gap down to $96,400 and or $96,600, and here all the way down to $91,500. So two CME gaps are currently below our current price point. So it is likely that we come and visit these areas again, and then obviously in the short term, when we look at liquidation heat map, currently you're seeing that Bitcoin price is trying to go and tag this liquidity pocket here above $100,000, going all the way up to about $101,000. So here we have liquidity zone. Currently, we're seeing the resistance here, obviously, but there's a lot of liquidations that will happen at these price areas. But here is the liquidity pocket that I would like for Bitcoin to visit as well. So I don't currently know which way we go first. Do we go up and tag that $100,000, or we go to tag these lows here and fulfill the CME caps? But overall, I do think that we will still go visit that area. I know I start to sound like the broken record. I've been saying this for multiple videos now, that we will go lower, but the Bitcoin still continues to push higher. But overall, that's still my take when I'm looking at all of this data. Now, again, for the final piece of data in the short term, when we look at aggregated spot order book depth, and currently we're looking at the 4-hour chart here, and we're looking at the order book depth within a 3% move price, 3% of the current price point. We're seeing a lot of people really happy about selling Bitcoin here. So here you can see that the delta is now 100, even $141 million at the highest here, $145 million at the highest. And when we scroll back here, this is pretty much the highest amount of limit sell orders compared to limit buy orders since the practically the previous all-time high. So here, when the Bitcoin price was $500,000, we saw the delta at a negative $198 million at the highest. So a lot of sell pressure from spot markets are currently on the exchange order books. So keep this in mind, that there's a lot of sell pressure. But again, at the same time, the positive news is that even though we had this pullback to 94K, a lot of buyers simply jumped in immediately to snatch the Bitcoin at that lower price as well. So some kind of a pullback is very likely. I would like to see that a major pullback to reset all of this, let's say, FOMO, and bring it back a little bit lower, and then we can have a prolonged bull run, not this crazy peak to the upside and then a crash. But overall, I'm just saying that there's major warning flags, even though Bitcoin is pushing up. Even as I'm recording, Bitcoin continues to go to the upside here. So currently I think we're all already breaking through this resistance kind of. Yeah, that's interesting. So now I guess we will go to $100,000 here, and from there we would go somewhere here. That's kind of what I'm currently expecting. Now again, I could be completely wrong here. Obviously, I've been wrong for the last couple of videos, expecting that pullback to happen, but it just simply doesn't happen. I guess the market makers are not really in control because of all of the buying. But again, like I showed you, there's just so much selling as well. Now, before I end the video, I want to show you guys Ethereum, because Ethereum actually broke out of this previous resistance here, and it is now pushing higher. So Ethereum is looking very good here. So even though Bitcoin might have a breather, maybe Ethereum will start to actually decouple from Bitcoin. And even from the lows here, if you simply held Ethereum from the lows, the price move is practically the same as it has been with Bitcoin. So you have not lost, even though you have held Ethereum. And Ethereum, in my perspective, looks undervalued compared to Bitcoin. So I'm quite happy to hold Ethereum and hold the Ethereum derivative, which is called Lido DAO, which is practically the protocol that allows liquid staking for Ethereum. So LDO and Ethereum, I bought them when Ethereum was about $1,800 here. So I'm happy to keep holding it. Even though I think Bitcoin might go down here, I'm gonna keep holding on to that Ethereum at least, because there's a chance it decouples, and even if it doesn't, eventually the Bitcoin will continue to the upside most likely. There's just so much buying that will happen in 2025 that I think we will see a blow off top by the end of the year. So that's it for this update. I hope you got value out of it. Let me know in the comments. Do you think this pullback will ever happen or it will not happen? And thanks for watching. I will see you on the next one, and bye bye.